My name's Kim and I was diagnosed with early breast cancer in July 2009. It was a Saturday morning, just like many other Saturday mornings, and I was in the bathroom about to jump into the shower and I was flicking up a new hairstyle, and with my arm upstretched I noticed a small dimple on the underside of my right breast, and about the 6 o'clock position on my breast, and it was a bit like a cellulite dimple, and I didn't think it was anything too sinister, but I thought I'd go and see my GP anyway, which I did that morning, and she sent me off for an ultrasound and a mammogram on the Monday. When I went back to see her on the Wednesday to get the results, she said, I hope you don't mind, but I've taken the liberty of making an emergency appointment with a breast surgeon for you, and you might want to take your husband. We think there's something pretty nasty there. So my husband Rick and I went to the breast surgeon together on the Thursday afternoon, and she confirmed our worst fears. She said she was 99% sure, based on the ultrasound, that it was breast cancer. She couldn't be 100% certain at the time because I hadn't had a biopsy, but what she could identify from the ultrasound was a lump the size of an olive and several satellite lumps around it. So I said, well, I guess you'll want to take that lump out. And she said, no, we need to take off your whole breast. And I found that quite confronting, the thought of losing my breast. So it was just like I'd been hit in the head. And breast cancer, I'd never thought about breast cancer. And I asked her, can I survive? Can I survive this? Will I live? Will it kill me? And she said, I don't know. She said, I can't tell you that. She said, but I can promise you that I'll do everything I can for you to survive it. And she said, but I can also promise you if you don't have this treatment, it will kill you. And I said, great, start the treatment now, take the other breast off as well if you want it, do whatever we need to do. And it was a crazy, crazy whirlwind of appointments, scans, MRI, biopsies, sentinel node biopsies. Just by the time I got to the hospital about 5 or 6 days later to have the mastectomy, I was exhausted emotionally, physically, just from all the running around and worrying about what was going to happen. Was this going to kill me? Was I going to survive it? So I had the mastectomy. I was in hospital for 6 nights. And then 3 weeks later, I started 6 rounds of chemotherapy treatment. Here I am 7 years on, and I'm still here. But that fear of recurrence is never far away. It's usually the 3 o'clock in the morning times that I'll wake up and think, because often now I do wake up since menopause and chemically induced menopause and night sweats, and it's not unusual to have a bit of insomnia. So it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning I'll lie there, and that's when the dark thoughts will creep in. But by morning I think, okay, there's no point in thinking about it too much, because I didn't know breast cancer was going to visit the first time, and if it comes back again, I'm sure it's going to come back without me knowing about it straight away. I spend a lot of time talking with women that have been diagnosed with breast cancer, and I don't know a single woman who doesn't have a fear of it coming back. I'd had this terrible cough a few years ago, and I'd coughed and coughed and coughed, and then a week or 2 later, I woke up at about 2 o'clock in the morning. I had these incredible pains down my back, right-hand side of my ribs, and I could actually hardly move. And I said to Rick, I am busting to go to the loo. I said, but I can't get out of bed. I can't move. So he helped me out of bed, and again, I could hardly move. And after about an hour, I said, I need to get to the hospital, and I need you to get an ambulance. And I said, because I'm really worried about what this is. So off I went to emergency, and as I was laying there, feeling a lot better after some drugs to relieve the discomfort, those thoughts of recurrence were really top of mind. And they were obviously top of mind for the emergency team as well, because I was sent off for a CT angiogram and x-rays, and it turned out that I had a broken rib. And the head of emergency came in and he said, look, given your history, I think I'm going to write to your oncologist, and I think you need to go and have a bone scan and a CT scan, because it's possible it could be metastatic cancer in your ribs. So that was a long few days after I'd had those tests, and I had myself written off, dead, buried. I was convinced that it was Mets in my ribs, and I hadn't even got the results of the test, but in my mind I'd spent 2 or 3 days planning my funeral, writing my own eulogy, thinking, okay, I better get that will, sorted out again. And when the results came in and it turned out it was only 3 broken ribs, which were probably caused by the coughing earlier and then all the muscles going into spasm, but no sign of metastatic breast cancer. What a celebration. Hooray, I've got 3 broken ribs, but no breast cancer. And I cried because I thought, this will never be that far away. No matter how much time goes by, something will happen and bring it to the forefront. Each year when I go off and have a mammogram and ultrasound of my one remaining breast, that fear resurfaces again. Not for long. The day of and waiting for the results, and if they have to re-scan or re-mammogram for any reason, there it is again. Okay, they've found something. So I accept that probably for the rest of my life, however long that is, there will be a fear of recurrence. I just have to ensure that I don't let it define me and consume me and take over every waking thought, because life really is good. It's busy, and as 7 years I'm still here. Some of the things that I find help me keep a lid on the fear of recurrence is just really simple things. Getting out, going for a walk. And it's funny, I often go for a walk down the beach because I live quite close to the beach, and there's a little, like a mini pier that I walk down, and I do some stretches. And when I went through chemotherapy, I made sure every single day I would go for a walk down the beach, and I found a particular spot to sit, and I would just sit there every day, and just a little bit of mindfulness and thinking things are going to be okay. The power of positive thinking, and I would do that all the time. I still just do things in moderation. I eat well. I still have a glass of wine, and try and live life normally. I do a lot of voluntary work connected with breast cancer and research, and I also find that very cathartic, and I feel it gives me the opportunity to give back, but it also empowers me as well. And the more I learn about breast cancer, I feel I have a bit more control as well of what's happening in my life. I really enjoy catching up with the women that I went through treatment with, apart from comparing hairstyles now several years on, from having no hair to now all having hair. It's nice to be able to share thoughts and ideas with these women, because they too have been through the experience. So it does normalise it for me and for them too. And it's quite a strong connection and quite a strong bond. And it's nice to be able to talk with other women who I know will understand what I'm going through. I've also been quite active on the Breast Cancer Network Australia online network, and God, what a great resource that is, because as well as just talking one-on-one perhaps with someone through private messaging, you can read so many messages, and it's wonderful for women in remote locations as well as cities. And it could be, if you're searching for information on a particular topic, you can just type in a couple of keywords and get lots of responses, or just type in a message. And lots of women are very active on the online network and will certainly offer a heap of support. And it's not really an advice network. It's just a great tool to use if you want to get some feedback and connect with others who may be in a similar situation and feeling the sort of fears that you're feeling.